Okay, okay. We are almost there. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. We are Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. I got some much needed rest and relaxation. Yes, sirree, sir. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh. So today, I had like several things I wanted to talk about. My main question, since this is the month for Halloween, what is your favorite horror movie? It could be a series, if you like Buffy the Vampire Slayer series. I guess that could count because there are vampires in that series, and it did have a nice arc, story-wise, throughout its run, back when many, many, many years ago. I mean, we are going way back here. I guess my favorite horror movie is not really a movie, but the state of current politics in Canada kind of makes me really scared. Yeah. And elections are pretty far away. Unfortunately, I do not think that we Canadians elected a government that had the foresight to deal with the issues that arise. It's never the case, it seems. When things are good, we get, kind of happy with our lives and start nitpicking certain things. But when things get tough and times get harder, we forget what the essentials are and getting back to basics. And people don't seem to know what those are. So it's kind of leaving me in a very, very awkward situation here where definitely we do not have a government capable of dealing with the crisis. All we can do is fire whoever's in charge and go on and move on to the next one. Let's find a scapegoat to blame for the situation, and let's just keep on doing whatever we're doing. We'll find another scapegoat. So currently, that politics are making me really scared in that sense. Also, during the weekend, I had the opportunity to check out some good series, some not so good series. And I hadn't seen a movie since Blue Beetle, and Blue Beetle was kind of okay, but I wasn't into it all that much. But over the weekend, I went and saw The Creator, and wow. Okay, not the best movie either, but I really enjoyed it. And I think I'll actually do a review about it because it had elements that are very current to a lot of my daily shows and a lot of my reviews lately, and a lot of stuff that I've been watching regarding AI. what happens when AI becomes sentient and we created them to serve us, but then it's it's really weird because some men suffered injuries, then get their limbs and whatnot replaced by mechanical devices. And so they are like half and half. Half in the mechanical world and half in the normal world. And we wonder, well, do they have feelings? Or are they just programmed to say the things that they say and have responses? So it's kinda, I really like it. I really liked it. I don't think it's a very serious debate on the issue. It's just that it talks about AI. And the story kind of surprised me here and there because we see scenes in the beginning and then we are led to believe one thing and then we are led to believe another thing. But in the end, our biological entities there's an expiration date on us. The one thing we know when we come into this world is that we will be leaving it. No matter how much technology tries to, I don't know how to say, prolong would be the right term, prolong our existence, it is still very limited. So I was entertained by the movie. I liked it. It's not a great movie by any stretch or leaps or whatnot. It's not gonna revolutionize anything. But I did really, really, really enjoy it. So, if you're looking for a good sci-fi movie, I do recommend it. Even if it's just a 5 or 6 out of 10. I mean, that's pretty high for me. I mean, what would I consider 9? Well, a 9 out of 10 would be Blade Runner, would be Aliens. Even though Alien, I consider that one to be a horror movie. I have not yet seen Saw X or Saw 10. I mean, that franchise was really good when it started. I don't know now how good it will be at this point. We'll just have to see when I do see it, because I do plan on seeing it. I don't see many horror movies personally, but I kind of do enjoy certain ones here and there. But I don't usually go out of my way to go and see horror movies. But if it's in fantasy, if it's based in fantasy, I will enjoy it. I'm not talking about, the Nightmare on Elm Street. Even though it's in dreams, I don't see it as being fantasy. Or Friday the 13th. Not my cup of tea either, back in the days. Basically, they were mislabeled as comedies because they were funny more than anything. For me, personally, that's just my opinion. If you disagree, let me know. That's why we have a comment section down below. Also, over the weekend, I saw part 2 of the part 3-part, what is it called? That hotel there, the Continental, based on John Wick. It was, well, the first one was very world building and very action packed. So much world building that it got me really, really confused as to what I was watching the first 30, 45 minutes of it. I didn't know who this was, who that was, why, okay. It's just action. You just disconnect and it's just action. The second part was really not there, action wise. Yes, there's a little bit of action, but we're getting into the nitty gritty of the story and what's going to happen in the third part of this super limited mini series. It was okay. I liked it. I did. I prefer this. This is how it should have started, like slow and build up to the action. It's kind of weird because it's like two people directed every part of this miniseries. So from the first one to the second one, it's like black and white. Everything's changing. I don't even recognize the characters from the first one to the second one. They're behaving differently. And there's some really long, like the twins. I don't know if you've seen it, so I don't want to give out any spoilers. But in the first part, we meet the twins. And they kind of portrayed a little bit how the twins are. In the second one, we see one of the twins quite a bit, and yet we don't hear her speak. We don't hear her formulate anything. It's just emotions. She tries to throw emotions on the screen, frustration. And we see her for quite a while, but there's no character development behind it. But overall, there's a story there that is taught from beginning to end, and we see where this is going. So after the first one is like, okay, turn off your brain and just watch the action scenes. And the second episode, it's no, there's a story, so pay attention to what's going on. This is the build up to what we are heading towards. And I don't know exactly how it's gonna go because they are sitting down in front of a map and trying and planning out the next episode. What I don't know is if any of this is gonna happen in the next episode. Like, why take an episode to devise a plan if you're not gonna follow this plan in the next episode? Like, the first thing that's gonna happen, okay, plan thrown out the window, let's improvise and do something else. Or move to plan B, which was not covered, or move to plan C, which was not covered in this episode. So it might, I don't know. I'm going to have to watch the third episode to see how that one goes. But there is a story in the second episode, and I really, really, okay, this is what I want. I want a story. Let's get back to basics. There's a few action scenes here and there, and people are explaining their reasoning behind their actions. It's okay. It's good. Then, also, I'm getting to the major, major, major downer of the weekend where I binge watched Castlevania Nocturne, which is the sequel series to the original Castlevania anime series. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, boy, where do I start? Social justice agenda driven. Like the first half, they're trying to develop the characters and white man rich bad, slaves and all this stuff, have the power. I was too much of it, too much of white man rich bad, church bad, this bad, everything man related is bad. hero boy is like a teenager brat that lets his emotions and cries and has feelings and doesn't want to be the hero. So I disconnected. I really did not like it. So yeah, first part a lot of character background trying to develop it, and then they're like, "Oh man, we forgot what this show was about. Let's get back on track and let's start killing vampires." But then the story makes no sense. Everything is rushed. This big, you're supposed to have a build up to the baddie, but at the end, I'm kind of rooting for the baddie because, well, just because they introduced her late. Sorry if spoilers. She has power not explained. A lot of it is not explained adequately. It's just rushed to get to the end, to make everybody the heroes that they know they can be. You know, after overcoming the daddy left me issues, there's a lot of that bad daddy issues. That's all Hollywood can write about today. And an anime that, okay, it's made for adults. No story, just social justice about things that the way they were 300 years ago, 500 years ago, whatever. To get to a point where, because of what the white man did centuries or millenniums ago, we will always be bad no matter what we do. Even though we abolish slavery, we will always be regarded as, well, white man slaves all the other races, so therefore I'm guilty until the end of times. So I was very, very, very disappointed by that. Unfortunately, it was not the greatest moment that they could have done here. Unfortunately, I don't see where this. I. And so much of the end is rushed, and somehow the good are good, and somehow that's why they kind of succeeded, and kind of not. I didn't know if this was going to be a multi-series, multi-season series or whatnot. So yes, the ending is not the end. The story does not come to a conclusion. So they build up all this world and these characters. Then they rush the story to get you to whatever the plot needs you to be at. Try to leave you on a cliffhanger so that you're interested in another season of this crappy show. I really, really like the first 4 seasons of Castlevania, but this one is completely something else. It's not Castlevania in my book. A lot of people will say, "Oh yeah, it's its own thing. It doesn't need to be based on the games or the lore or nothing of that. It could be its own thing." Yeah, well, Star Wars, it's its own thing and is failing miserably. Marvel has gone into its own thing, fails miserably. So, I would say, unfortunately, hard pass. It's like a 1 or a 2. Basically, because the animation is well done. I will say that. It looks good on screen. I saw the trailers and I was really, really, really looking forward to this season or this series, but unfortunately, it was a major letdown. And we've said it before, and I'll say it again. This For the longest time now, these social justice agenda driven stories do not work. And they keep pushing it down our throats. They are really lost and don't know how to do stuff. Now, if you want to get into, how can I say? I saw this anime last week called Heavenly Delusion. I did a review on it. I didn't get into too many details, but there are, like, spoiler alert, twins that are born, a male and a female. And we don't know how it came to be, although it is kind of explained, but not really, throughout the series or throughout the season, that the brother got switched with the sister. So one is living in the body of the other. The other is presumed dead, but having the brain of one in the body of the other. Maybe the body has memories. As even if you connect the brain, we do know that the spinal stuff kind of has reflexes built in and memory, muscle memory, and all that stuff. So he's wondering if his sister is resurfacing through him. Anyways, so you see here where I'm getting with this, that they are getting into the identity politics. But it's also in a way that it's not the main story. It's just how sometimes we get glimpse into the background history of the characters that we are watching. So there's some backstory there. It's sci-fi, it's fantasy, it's a parallel something. It's the apocalypse, it's whatever, mankind trying to cheat death in every way imaginable. Doing things that, make no sense, but if you can think about it, we will probably try to do it. That's what we know of mankind. So, I would definitely, but it's all story driven. The entire series is trying to get to somewhere to try to find out stuff and find people from your past that created who you are, and then finding out that somehow they change. Life has changed them. So that's a very interesting perspective on life and all kinds of stuff. It's not identity politics driven. It's part of the characters, but it's not part of the story. It's not why we are watching the story. Whereas Castlevania Nocturne, just basically, that's all it is. It's about the slavery, it's about the slaves, how we mistreat the slaves. Basically, all white men are vampires. And, the church does, deals with the devil to stay in power. All that kind of stuff. Sorry, spoilers. So no, I did not enjoy it. It was not for me. But let me know in the comments down below if you want me to do like a top 5 of my favorite horror stories or movies or series. Throughout the month, if you want me to review like the 100 best horror movies, and I'll start with number 99 or 100. And towards Halloween, we will move into the top 5. So that's my idea for the day. If you have any ideas or comments or opinions, please share them down below in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Till then, people, stay safe, and I will